Hi everybody, it's Curtis from Omaha Knife. We're going to give you our latest unboxing video from Gransfors. Before we do that, just a reminder, obviously we're here on YouTube, but you can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Those are the fastest ways to know what new things we have in stock. And yeah, we're starting with the most boring, the replacement handles. But also, if you follow our website in regards to new inventory, new inventory always shows at the front of the site. If you want a text notification, if you're looking for a small forest axe or whatever, you can ask us to text you when they come in, and we will. And kind of the way that works is when they come in, we text everybody who wants one and then put them on the website after that. And sometimes we've texted more people than what we have access for, so it can get pretty tricky, and this is one of those times, I think. So anyway, that's how that works. If you see something here you like, you got a good chance of being disappointed when well, it's true. A good chance of being disappointed when you call, because you know, you hear it over and over again, the supply problems because of COVID. A couple months ago we had a nice order. You may have watched the video on that. Last month our order was even worse than this one. But let's just look at them. This is a exceptionally cool looking handle for those of us that like dark wood. It has some light wood on the other side, which I don't love. I would still, if this were an axe, I would still like it, but I just love the super dark wood like that. Some people don't. Some people hate it, and that's fine. We don't care what you like. We'll try to get you what you do like. Pretty cool looking handle there. And if you've watched these videos before, you know that we just like looking for cool details, and we're just kind of showing those off and then showing what we have in stock. Now, one thing that's a little bit different today, at the suggestion of a viewer, we got a corded microphone, lavalier that clips on me so that the sound's a little bit better. And so we have that, and you may see the cord, but I think you're going to like the sound better. Someday we might get a better camera as well. So also in this first box, nice looking carpenter's hatchet with a cool looking handle. We'll make this video fairly short. We won't dwell on anything. Small forest axe, CS maker. And a large and long splitting axe. And you know what, folks, hold on just a second. We're going to come right back to you. Okay, we're back. So the next layer down here, let's see what we have. A couple hand hatchet handles. Those don't have a lot of length to them, so you don't get a lot of grain. Now, we've talked about this in videos before, but not everybody watches all the videos. The coarseness on these you get on the splitting axes as well. That's for hand grip. Sometimes people get them and wonder if it's, you know, something that wasn't finished, but some models just have that. This one doesn't show up quite as obviously. This is a splitting axe. Is it focusing on it? It's right here. If you're not seeing the texture, it's there. The texture ends here. Use a different finger. Texture ends there, and it's smooth the rest of the way up. So let me move my cord. All right, so this is going to be splitting. So another large and long, nice looking handle. Now, people who, it's not terribly straight grain, but people who like tight grain, I assume that has a lot of grain lines based on how the side looked. And we got some replacement sheaths. For any of your Gransfors stuff, we try to have the sheaths in stock, obviously, as well as the handles. Now, one thing that occasionally happens in shipping from them to us, the sheath gets a little bit mushed. We'll double check to make sure that the blade didn't go all the way up and hit the rivets. If it did, there's no damage to the blade. We'll ship it out. We'll check it some more, not on camera, but we'll ship it out with wrinkles like that. We don't consider that to devalue it because you're going to do the same thing. You might prefer to not have that. It doesn't happen very often, but you can kind of push it back out. We don't consider it a big deal, so we don't take those out. I'm just telling you in case you get one, it's not all that common. And I think I mentioned before, most of this stuff will probably be purchased before you see this video. apologize for that. But you know, we don't do a lot of videos. We kind of felt like we needed to get something up because we don't get a lot of comments necessarily on the videos, as in on YouTube, but people call to order stuff and comment on the videos. And like this microphone is because somebody suggested it, said it's a lot easier to watch the video with a better microphone. It gets fatiguing when you can kind of hear the room echo. So this one looks nice. It's a hand hatchet, and you don't see the grooves as much on this one, but they're definitely there. So that's kind of a cool looking darker wood piece. Broadaxe. And see, it's not as coarse as hand hatchet, but there is texture there. And you see these kind of little chippy things. Some people get that, see that and think that it's flawed. I don't necessarily like the little chippy things, but it's how they come. This is a double bevel. Now single bevel, it'll still have some grind on one side, just that it's like squared up on the one side and then most of the grind on the other. More than anything, we sell the double bevel like this one. .450 splitting maul, kind of cool there, if that would be super cool if it was there with the logo, but cool looking handle. Typical maul. YT, I think we've seen his before. He's going to be a newer maker.
Mr. YouTube.
Yeah, there you go. I didn't think of that. I don't know if this mic picked her up. She said Mr. YouTube, YT. So you can tell he's a new maker because we're not used to seeing it, but see how crisp his marks are? Nice new tooling. Nice and crisp there. Some people like one maker or another, whether they've gone online and found their names and tried to find their Facebook page and find a guy they think is really cool or whatever. Some people will go online and try to find out who the best blacksmith is, or whatever like that. That's really, but from one guy to the next, they're not really better. From axe to axe, there are nicer looking details, but it's not like one guy kind of sucks and all the rest are great, or the other way around or whatever. They're all great or they wouldn't work there. A little bit of a mush there on the sheath. Light handle, another splitting maul. Splitting maul is ground on this side, we'll call it the hammer side, and it is meant to be hammered. None of the others are. They're not ground, they're also not intended to pound the wedge. Another YT, another nice looking maul, nice light colored handle. And that's all in that box. Now see, we started with, I don't know what, 6 boxes, and we're down to 4, and we haven't shown you that much stuff, unfortunately. Don't let the camera see the top of my head. I don't know if other people are this way, but when you do that, it's like, wait, I thought I had a lot more hair on top than that. I'll bet every single person who sees the top of their head, imagine their head look like their dog's back or something. And you see that kind of cowlick thing and see skin there, it's like, oh my God, am I going bald? All right, so this is the kind of handle I like. I like seeing bold lines like that. Now these aren't centered on the side. It still looks fine. This side's a little dull.
It's like the back side.
Yeah, so if the side had those lines, I would love that one. Now, this one's not snapped. That happens sometimes, and you can see this one a little bit there. So these boxes maybe got tossed around more than typical. Well, and more than typical, when we get a good order, it comes on a pallet, truck rate, so the boxes are not being handled individually, and those come out a lot better. So a hunter's axe. Now, a hunter's axe is polished on the back. That's not for pounding like tent stakes or whatever. It's as a hunter's axe, it's for skinning, which we won't go into that. If somebody's interested in a hunter's axe, they know what it's for. And it's kind of gross to people who are not into hunting, so we won't go into that. And plus, we're trying to keep the videos short. All right, more Scandinavian, cool. That side's boring, kind of cool there. A little bit darker, and yeah, that's a good looking one. Of course, when we say good looking, that's our preferences. I really like that one a lot. It's subtle but nice grain lines. So that's cool. And some stark lines on this one, and hold on again. All right, sorry about the couple of interruptions. We normally do these videos before we open or after we close, but people know that if we're here, we're open. So if they see somebody here, they know to come in, and which is fine. It's always been that way, but it happens mostly on days we're doing videos that people, today it's late, but if we come in early to do a video, customers come early that day. When we stay late is the day that customers want to check on us late. Now I was actually looking ahead at this one because this is the coolest one of the splitting malls so far. The big grain lines, super cool. And this is another YT. Because we stopped, it's like I was thinking, did I say that yet? But yes, I did. The nice clear markings. Yes. So we'll keep rolling on this because I think I started off saying it would be a short video, and so far it's headed the other way. But we have 3 boxes to go, and one of them is less tall. And I think I said before, the last video we did was a nice size order. It came on a truck. And I don't know how many people, I think quite a few people, and I would be this way. Of course, I get to see the axes for real, but I would watch all these videos because I like all the details, just to see the different axes. And I guess that's why we do these videos, is because it's interesting to me. So I assume it's interesting to and it is interesting to other people because we get a lot of comments on it when they call. So replacement handles, we won't spend a lot of time. Here, when you look this, I don't know why this happens. We've seen this before where it's been on a head, and I don't know why they took it off, although they might, this is only theory, I've never talked to anybody about it, they might put them on, take them off just to make sure they fit, because the video we did replacing the handle in a mall, we've had some people call and they can't get the collar guard to go inside the head. So on these, I don't know if they're trying to squeeze them down so people don't have that trouble, because we see it a lot. This one has it also. But anyway, I think I said in that video, we used one of those handles, and I said I would prefer that because, you know, the work is already kind of done. And see, it's that way. So maybe they're doing that on purpose for us. I can't imagine they put a bunch of heads on and then took them off. You only see it, or well, I shouldn't say only, at least mainly see it when it has the metal collar guard. So they might be doing us all a favor by making sure those are, oh, and here's a good example of where that can matter. So see how big that was going to be. There's one customer, he was from a nearby city. His didn't fit, he brought it in, I worked on it with him, and we actually had to do a lot of grinding here to get his to go in. So these can be a pain. Now the one we did in that video was not a pain at all because we had one of those. All right. Oh, that's a cool one.
Wildland.
Cool on both sides. That's a nice hatchet. That one's just, you know, it's fine. Not wow like the one we just looked at, small forest axe. A couple more sheaths, we talked about that. That one's cool, yeah. And I've said in previous videos, oh, I want to mention that crack thing too. It's not really a crack. Hold on a sec. I've mentioned well, no, let's just talk about the crack. There's a couple things here I want to talk about. I'll use this as a pointer. People call it crack. It's not really a crack right here. Small forest, Scandinavian forest wildlife, they all have it. It's where the eye was punched open and then the right size tool was put in and it was closed back down. So punched bigger, the right size piece put in, closed back down, and you have this gap. Now we also have people complain about this gap. Now I'm going to take the razor blade and poke it into the gap. Here, let's see. See, it stopped. Is it caught? It is definitely caught. It goes in, but only a tiny bit because it's, see, I'm totally catching it because it's flexing the blade, but I pull out, well, unload a little bit. See, it was just barely in there. So people will be unhappy because they think it's poorly fitted, but it's not poorly fitted. Now they're not all that way. Since they're handmade, they vary, but a little bit of taper going in makes it a whole lot easier when you replace them. You know, there it's tighter, but some of them have it. It doesn't go very deep, doesn't matter. We need to do a video with a bunch of that stuff, but we haven't been able to get enough. Yeah, this one has that too, now that we're talking about it. And then the crack that people call it down there, if we get rid of some wood, you can see, yeah, there you go. You can kind of see it has that crack thing, or what people call a crack. Now, since we're on that subject, there are other tool marks, like people have complained about spots like that. And you know, that's just normal. Oh, I'm going to go on a side note.
Been making for a long time.
Yes, he's been making, I think, as long as we've been in business, so more than 8 years. So a customer, a quick story, and we'll do it again and find his pictures. It was a gift that I don't remember who. We've got the notes. Somebody got him. They were in Sweden. They bought a mini hatchet in Sweden that was made by LP.
His mom.
Oh, his mom was there? Okay. And some people say they get one and go, I've got older Gransfors and they're just not as good as they used to be, and all this kind of stuff. Now, in 8 years, I've not noticed anything like that. But we looked at this original LP mini hatchet, and there were subtle differences from the mini hatchet of today. But it had all those blemishes, or whatever you want to call them. So I think a lot of it is people get a real fondness for these axes, and then they just get so picky. They want the perfect axe. And so they look at all those little blemishes that they didn't used to look at. And I call them blemishes because they call them blemishes. Other people would just call it character. And, you know, again, a dent there, or, you know, it's tool mark, not a dent. But that's what people call them. But anyway, back to what we're doing here. So that one's fine. A good, you know, user and all that. You're not going to show people how cool your handle is. Here's a better looking handle, while the other side was. That one's not as good as I thought. But if you get that axe, you're going to be happy as a chopper. And I mentioned this before, when you get the really cool looking ones, you get afraid to use them. And now you should be afraid to let your friends use them, by the way. You should always be afraid to let your friends use your Gransfors. But I've done that. Got the really cool looking, okay, so this is a short box. Got the really cool looking axes. Do you see what I did with the razor blade? Are we going to have to stop the tape and dig into the axe pile to find it? No, don't stop it. It can't be very far away. Here, we'll just get one of these. It's a knife store. We have knives. Now, normally, believe it or not, we open packages with razor blade knives so that there isn't tape goo on the knives that are for sale. So I'll clean that before it goes back out. All right, so looks like some small forest axes in here. Yeah. So, you know, people into really straight grain. It has straight grain, but not like super wow details. CS on the maker. Yeah, that one's more cool looking. Another CS. When we get a maker like CS, I mean, if one's CS, a bunch of them are going to be CS because our order came out of a group, and a maker's, you know, one maker's stuff is going to be integrated. Although there's an MB, I know, yeah, good, great looking. Yeah, so it's not unusual to have a couple different makers, but it is unusual to have a big mix of makers. So some people want to come in and compare different ones, and that generally doesn't work out because at any given time we only have a couple. Now, when we've been fortunate enough to have huge numbers on hand, you get a look at a little more. But within one order, it's pretty small like that. And I mentioned LP earlier. I think everybody knows who he is. Him. that's why, as far as I know, that's the only thing that makes LP a big deal. I mean, he's a, you don't get to be in the book because you're a schmuck, though. I don't want to take anything away from him. And there's his initials there. So, I mean, he's somebody there, but it's not like he's famous otherwise. You know, he's never a movie star or anything like that. He's just well respected for what he does there. All right, we really need these maul handles. That one's kind of cool looking. If I were redoing my handle and needed it now, I'd probably take this one. I don't know, this one or that one. But if I were redoing it, because I like cool handles, I'd wait another month and see if I could get a really cool one. Yeah, that one's, well, this side's pretty cool. That side by itself is fine with the darker wood. So this is the last box. We're near the end. All right, more handles. Oh, that one's cool. People are watching these videos and hearing stuff fall and think that we handle stuff like the UPS man. And now someplace somewhere a UPS man's mad at us. No, they know how they handle packages. They just snicker, I'll bet at that. So that's pretty cool looking.
That is cool.
The coolest stuff is up here, and you're going to cover a lot of the cool, but filling handle. All right, so outdoor axes, MF. Another MF, that one looks nice. So not a lot of handle here to get cool looking grain. So that's about as good looking as that one can get. Both sides look good. Okay, so as we're headed down the home stretch here, this is all we got for the entire month. And I mentioned earlier that by the time you watch this video, probably the small forest axes will be all gone. Our website is pretty accurate on in stock. The only time it's not accurate is if you know, somebody just bought it in the store while you're messing around checking out, and messing around is not the right word, but you know what I mean, while you're doing your thing, and you go to check out if somebody's taking it from here or something like that. Or if we just can't count, you know, we put 10 in stock when there were 9 or something like that. Otherwise, it's accurate. If it's in stock and you buy it, 99.9% chance you're actually going to get it. We get a lot of calls on Gransfors where people are like, you know, it's in stock and I ordered it, or in stock on your website and I ordered it, but am I really going to get it? And you really are. We'll call you on the rare occasions where there's where something bad happens. Here, you can film the pile here.
We try to make it pretty.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we need to take
form.
off, so we're not going to do the presentation.
This is how organized it is.
This is how things look in the back. So we'll wrap this video up, and hopefully next month we have a nice big pile of them to show you, but we'll find out. And we're going to try to get more videos done for you. Oh, interesting, or at least was interesting to us. A couple came in earlier in the week that watched one of our videos, and they were from Florida. They're on vacation with a variety of stops that took them through here. They're headed for Washington State. So they couldn't be really going any further and still be within the country, but they made it a point to stop here, and we really appreciate that. I don't remember their first names. I would just say them if I did, in case they watched this video. But anytime you're traveling, we're not far off of I-80. It's really not out of your way to come and visit us. If it is after hours, that you're going to be coming through, call and see if we can meet you here, because as you've seen, if somebody wants to come in after hours and we can accommodate, we definitely do, especially if you're traveling cross country. We want you to come in and see the place. So we'll be doing a video soon just showing you around the store. For the longest time, we just had too many empty shelves. We didn't want to do that video for you. We expanded our space just in time for COVID, and we just haven't felt like it was good enough for a video yet. And I think we're going to do one soon, and then later, whenever we get caught up on inventory, then we'll do a newer one. But anyway, we're going to wrap it up. Of course, you know about us on YouTube. It's Omaha Knife on Instagram and Facebook, and omahaknife.com. Thanks for watching this video, and we will see you on the next one.